Now I think we're live. It's always such an amazing experience trying to get stuff to go live without actually knowing if it works. I think it's amazing. Let me just double check now. Perfect. It seems to be working over there as well. My friends, good to see you this Wednesday. We're getting into the habit of doing these live calls every Wednesday from last week. Moving forward, I think it's a great time and a great day of the week to talk about it. And today's topic is how to launch outcome based offers. And in order to do so, let's discuss what an outcome based offer is. All of that we're going to be diving into in just a little bit. If you can hear me, if you can see me, feel free to share a comment in the sections below on whatever platform you're watching this. We're live on several as we speak. If you don't know me, my name is Joel. I'm one of the co-founders over at Coachbox, and I'm also one of the lead coaches at the Awaken Entrepreneurs Hub. What that is, I'm not going to dive into right now, but it's a great resource if you're working as a coach, if you work with some type of spiritual business, or if you're just in general looking to help more people, then you might want to check out all of those things. But I digress. Let's actually look at and start talking about outcome-based offers. And I've been cheating a little bit. Most of the time, I actually don't prepare presentations, because I hate presentations. But in this specific instance, I wanted to create a presentation kind of to guide you through it, but also to use as kind of a cheat sheet. And if you want this presentation, maybe to get use as a reference or use when you're creating these type of offers, you let me know and send me a DM, send me an email, send me a fax for all I care if you know how to do that. And you get my fax number. That's the important key. If you manage to do that, let me know. I'd be happy to share the presentation with you. Because at the end of the day, my background comes from a point of me wanting to help people, wanting to serve others, wanting to do good things. But in reality, I had no real way of actually reaching people and actually serving them. So where I am right now, where I have all the possibility in the world to do that, I have a hard time remembering from the top of my head how it felt, but I know exactly in my heart and in my brain and in my soul how frustrating it is to be able to help, but not reaching people who actually need your help. That was killing me, and it almost killed my desire to continue working. And it's an easy hurdle to get over once you are over it, but it can be a mountain to climb before we do. One thing I learned early is that you have to look at what people are actually wanting to buy. We can't come from the perspective of here's what I have, please buy this. Because if we do, all that's going to happen with that is that no one is going to buy, or at least few people will buy from you. We have to flip the script on this, and we have to look at, all right, what do people actually look for? What do they actually want? And how can I help them solve that problem? And that's what I mean when we talk about outcome-based offers. What essentially that means is looking at the outcome someone wants instead of looking at what you necessarily can sell them, meaning what do you have right now? The old classic example is sell me this pen. I'm not looking for a pen. There's no point. So let's dive in and take a look at what this is, what I mean by this, and walk through it step by step. And I'll show you what I mean by that. So let's see if I can get everything to work the way I want it to. There we are. Hopefully you have this on full screen now. What we're going to be talking about is how to create these great offers and make sure people love them. I think more than anything else, that is an important part of this. If you have any questions, also drop them in the chat below wherever you're watching. If I don't address them right now, I promise I will address them after today's call. And just to make sure you're in the right place, this is not going to be a sales pitch at all. This is purely educational. There's no sales pitch at all. So I just want to make sure that if you're watching this, who are you? You're probably a coach, or you want to start coaching, or you run a business and you have a burning desire to actually help people. I know this sounds like the intro to some kind of sales pitch. It's not. I just wanted to put this in so you know that if you are, I don't know, underwater basket weaver and you're not looking to help people, you might not want to stick around. And I also think that if you're here, you're kind of tired of gurus. I hate the people who say it's super easy. I hate the people who say that it's just do this and it's going to work. Reality is 83% of all coaches fail within the first 3 years. 83%. This is pre-pandemic, by the way, stats. I would imagine this number is even higher right now. And I don't know if you notice, but to me at least, all the time when we see these old time. Oh, here we are. I actually forgot to share my screen there for a second. Stupid of me. Here we are. If you notice the old time kind of marketing where people just sell you stuff all the time, that isn't really working anymore. It's actually not, and more we're coming to a place where we don't like that. I don't enjoy being sold that way. I don't think you do either. My point of view is we need to shift that into a newer type of marketing where we actually help people first. That has to be the goal, target for this, and the goal for it. And this is me, a much younger version of myself. Dare I say, not as pretty as the current version? Could be a controversial thought here. That is me almost 15 years ago. A happy guy with so much passion, so much drive, and so much failure to come. I had no idea when the first picture was taken. I failed so hard when I started to run the business, and I ran it completely wrong. I ran it backwards. I bought into all the get rich quick stuff. I had a gazillion tech things, and I thought it was going to make everything work. It didn't. And I just bought course after course after course, and I plowed down so much money into things that didn't actually make any sense. I tell people all the time, you've heard this probably gazillion times before, I spent $35,000 not getting any results whatsoever. So here you can see the face of a man who is not particularly satisfied and happy with his life. And I burned out completely. I was at the point where I was going to give up, and I figured there's no point in this. There's no cash flow. It doesn't work. Even lost businesses because it didn't work. I couldn't put it together. So I had to do something. It had to be something else. I had to go back to the basic, and it had to go back to actually talking to people, helping, serving people, doing all the things that I know I needed to do. And most of us stopped just taking new information all the time and not acting on it. Focusing on serving and helping people was the game changer. And then looking at the business, from a holistic point of view, looking at the whole, not just the business side, but my life and how do we put this together, and ignore all of the gimmicks, all of the weird gadgety type AppSumo, New Deal, cool stuff, and connecting with people, talking to people, actually sharing ideas and thoughts with people in a way that makes sense. That's what I had to do. That's what I had to do. If I hadn't done that, I would not be sitting here today. I'm positive of it. So with that in mind, and deciding to ignore all of that, I kind of designed this super simple 3-step non-techies way of doing it. This is the way I did everything, and the way I built my business. And this is how we create the offer, and this is how I think you should think about your business as well. Before I continue, I'm super annoyed by the fact I have 2 logos on top of each other here. The perfectionist just stepped in. I'll leave it there. You'll deal with it, I'm sure. It's just me who's annoyed by it. So let's actually do this and then move myself out of the way. Look at that. Almost perfect. This simple system, at least. And as I said, if you want the slides, let me know. I'll send them to you. But it starts with the idea of who do you actually want to work with. So let's dive into looking at the client, because at the end of this, I want you to kind of grasp the system I've used now for over a decade to create offers that actually work. And it starts with the client. It starts with you defining that one specific person, the one person that you really, really enjoy working with. If you look around in the room where you're sitting right now, or if you're in the bus or wherever you are, look around, and the door, mine is over there, imagine 100 people behind that door. Think about If you could place 100 people behind the door and you're going to work with them to help them solve a problem, what attributes do that person or those people, those 100 people, need to have for you to enjoy working with the 100th person as much as the first? There are some things here that definitely stand out. You probably don't want to work with everyone. Probably you have a preferred type of person. You might have a preference if it's a male or a female. There might be a preference around age that ties into what you actually do. If we work with women in menopause, we might not work with young men for obvious reasons. But who is this one person? Be very clear on this, because if you are not, if you're just haphazardly saying, I serve everyone, you're not serving anyone. That's the reality of it. So you kind of have to be super specific with it. Otherwise, you will actually get into a lot of trouble as you try to market it. And then research everything, like literally everything about it. What cars do they like? What magazines do they read? What is their favorite grocery store? Is it farmers markets? Is it Walmart? Where do they buy groceries? Where everything you can possibly think of. Get to know them intimately so you know exactly who this person is. This will help you understand their life and their situation so you can actually make sure that the problem they're facing is something you can help them with. And if you don't know, ask people. If you're trying to work with a certain type of person and you don't know an answer, well, ask them. Give them a call. You most likely have clients already that is this type of person, or you have people in your network that is this type of person. Ask them. What are your thoughts on this thing, or how do you think about this? It's so important to speak their language and understand their world. To me, this comes down to exactly when I send emails. What time of the day do I send emails? How do I write those emails? What are the colors I use? How do I position this all the time? It's so crucial to actually get it to work. And the biggest one, number one mistake here I see people do is they're trying to do this for everyone. And if we don't know exactly who it is, we're purely relying on luck to have someone show up at our doorstep wanting help with this. And we can't rely on luck. We can't. You have to have reliability and sustainability in your business when we create the offer. It has to be there. It can't be luck. So we need to be specific. And as we move forward here, you will see again why the specificity is so important, because now we're coming to the next part of this. There is a problem. They are not just haphazardly browsing around the internet. They're looking for a solution to a problem. And this is really where it comes together, where you have to be on top of this. You have to make sure to know exactly who this person is. Let me give you an example. We have 7 kids. Most of the times when after my wife had given birth to our kids, she felt a desire to lose some of the weight she gained during the pregnancy. She felt, not me, she felt, just pointing that out. If you are a personal trainer and you want to work with women to lose weight in that type of situation, you need to talk about that. A personal trainer could probably help me run the mile faster, or it can help me get stronger, bigger muscles, or whatever that is. But if you are looking to work with women after giving birth and helping them losing some of the weight they gained during the pregnancy, a message about running the mile faster will never work for them. Just to kind of give you an example of this, we have to be specific. And we have to think about what is a problem they're having. That's why we need to do the research beforehand. What problems are they facing? And one of the best ways to think about this that I've ever come across is something called the 3 a.m. test, which is basically thinking about, all right, what problem here is my ideal client facing in the middle of the night when they can't sleep because they're so worried about this thing? What is the problem they are facing? And when they're lying there awake at night, if you could help them to find a solution to that, would that be interesting to them? This kind of gives you a spectra of ideas. When I was going through the period of my life where we didn't have anything and we didn't have food and we couldn't pay rent, I would not care if you came and said, I can give you leads. It's not interesting. I don't want leads. I need sales. That's what I was laying awake at night thinking about. I need money. I need to sell something to buy food. Do you see how I think with this? You have to kind of, in some way, actually get it to come together in a place so that you position yourself naturally as a solution provider to a problem the client is facing. So the question then, how do you solve this problem? With your skill and expertise and the knowledge from the previous step, how do you actually solve the problem that the client is facing? And why is that important to the client to solve the problem? Again, using the personal trainer as an example, no one is looking to buy time from you or from anyone else. If I go to a personal trainer, I want to get fit. I don't want to spend 10 hours in the gym. I want to get fit. That's really what the key is here. So what is the problem and how do we solve it differently? Knowing your client, knowing your skill, knowing and thinking about what they think about a night, what is the problem you solve, and how do you solve that differently? This also gives you a scope on the size of the problem. Because if this is a problem we can solve easily in just 10 seconds or 10 minutes or one session, chances are the problem is too small. You might want to help them solve a bigger problem that is actually the root cause of their situation. So if we jump forward to the biggest mistake, I see this over and over and over and over again. No, I don't want to niche down. I want to help everyone with everything. I can help anyone with this type of thing. Most likely, not all the cases, but most likely, someone who says something like this is probably struggling to get clients. In all honesty, in all reality here, if you're trying to be everything to everyone, you're not interesting to anyone. So be specific. It's going to save you energy, it's going to save you time, and it's going to save you so much like real struggle in trying to market stuff if you're specific. So make sure you choose a problem and define that problem to one person. Moving forward, looking at the outcome-based solution and the actual offer itself, this is where the rubber meets the road. When we know who we serve, we know what problems they're facing, we can then look at, all right, how do I fix this? How do I help someone fix this problem? And you have to decide then what's the best way to deliver the solution to the client. Also based on the research you've done. I know this isn't the sexiest part of everything, but it has to be decided based on the client. Do they want to work one-on-one with you? Do they want to work in a group? Do they want to work as a part of a course? Do they want you to do all the work and deliver the results? What's the way? What's the solution? And how do you provide that solution to the client? And never do this. Never, ever, ever, ever do this in the format of selling time. Never. And why do I say this? It's very simple. You can't scale time. Let me give you a good example of this. I talked to a client a while back. She's been doing and coaching what she's coaching for almost 20 years, 19 years to be exact. And she came to me and she said, I'm not making enough money anymore. I can't understand. I am a much better coach. I am much better at helping people than I was earlier, but I can't make as much money as I used to do. So I can't pay the bills anymore. I'm thinking about quitting this. And I said, it's obvious, don't you think? And she said, no, if I had known, I would fix it. And I said, right, let me ask you a question. 10 years ago, how many sessions did you have to work with a client to actually solve their problems? And she said, probably around 10. All right. 5 years ago, probably around 5. 3 years ago, probably around 3. And today, how many sessions do you work with them? She says, I typically fix their problem on one session. In one session. That's your solution. When you were much worse at what you were doing, you were making more money because your pricing model is punishing you for doing a good job. Never sell time. Never, ever sell time. Never. Always sell the outcome. We have to do that. That's the only way we can make this work in a sustainable and reliable way. And if you're scared to do this, and if you're just starting out, there's ways to look at this that makes it a lot easier. And if you want help with that, also reach out. I'll be happy to help you. But never, never sell time. and then create a clear and relatable solution and show them how to get there. Meaning we have to map this out. We have to show them the process from where they are today to where they want to be and show them the path to getting there. And we do this by reverse engineering. Let's say you help people. I'm just going to use the personal trainer example again because it's easy. Let's say you help people lose 20 pounds and you do that in 6 weeks by, I don't know, teaching them how to fast and how to lift weights, whatever way you do that. Show them the path. First, we start by doing this, and then we do this, and then we do that, and then we transition, and then we do. Show them how it's done. Some people want to hear you tell them how it's done. Some people want to feel stuff. This is how it works. Some people want to listen. Some people want to see it. And when we see something, we can relate to it. And in a lot of situations, the biggest struggle you have to enrolling and closing the client is not that you can't help them. It's the client's fear of not being able to do this themselves. And by showing them this in clear design on a paper or digitally helps them overcome the fear of not being able to do it. So it's an incredibly powerful tool to use. And your offer shouldn't be for everyone. It needs to be specific. I said this several times, and I'm stressing this again. Look at the outcome that they really desire, that they really want, and create the offer around that. It has to be done that way. I'm not saying that because I'm the only person online helping people solve that way. I'm not. There's a gazillion people doing that, but it has to be outcome-based. I don't know how many people a week I talk to who still sells time. It has to be outcome-based, and it has to be for one specific person. It's so incredibly important. And the biggest mistake, you've guessed it, never sell time. You can't scale it, and you only have 24 hours a day. And then what? So if you think that is something you would like to actually do, getting into and shifting into, let's do it. And if you want some help with that, I've opened up a few slots in my calendar to actually help people to nail the offer. So feel free to go to coachbox.io/Joel. I'll leave that in the comments somewhere below. Book a free call. We'll sit down for an hour. I'll help you kind of change the thoughts around this. I'll help you with some suggestions, some ideas around it. And together we'll map it out. We'll map the offer out for you. It's a completely free session. I'm not going to charge you anything for it. But I do enjoy helping and solving problems for people. So if you want help with that, feel free to schedule a call and let's talk about that. This is not a sales call. This is me actually working together with you, just to be clear. So feel free to do so. I think it's really, really important to actually look at the outcomes we have and really deciding to move forward with them. Because when we're selling offers, especially when we work with coaching or consulting or teaching in any way, shape, or form, the old model doesn't work anymore. And you really have to shift into something that works for you and that is scalable. And when we're launching and creating these offers that are based on someone, a specific person that you have in mind, and when you think about that one specific problem they really want to solve, and when you provide them with a solution to the problem they know they have, and you know they have, and you can show them a clear pathway to where they want to go, magic happens. It actually takes you from being this burnt out guy to this, or actually this much less burnt out guy. It doesn't make you immune to working too much, and it doesn't make you immune to trying to do everything at once. But what it does, it allows you to get a reliable and sustainable business model in place. I know it doesn't sound sexy, but it's important. It allows you to get that stable and reliable business practice in place that you need to actually create the life you want. Again, if you want me to help you, feel free, book a call. coachbox.io/Joel. Let's sit down for an hour. I'll help you nail an offer so that you can go out and use before the end of the week. It's been a pleasure teaching. I've seen a bunch of messages popping up in the chat, a couple of questions. I'll address those next time we go around, or I'll address them rather in the comments below. I wish you a fantastic Wednesday. If you have any suggestions, what you want me to talk about next, feel free to drop those in the comments as well. My friend, have a wonderful week, and I'll see you next Wednesday. All the best, and take care.